Congratulations to Jerry Cobb. No player hit for the cycle, but Jerry has won a Sony 27-inch stereo television by playing in tonight's giant HTS Orioles $1 Million Magic. To see if you can turn your field of dreams into a field of green, watch the Orioles on O's TV and see your local giant for details. Some defensive changes. Jeffrey Hammonds, who pinch hit, stays in to play left field. Mike Devereaux moves from left field to right field. And we have a new pitcher, hard-throwing Armando Benitez.
Done a nice job for the Orioles so far. Gradually being weaned into a more important role in the bullpen. See a 0 ERA. Not bad heading into May.
They'll face the top of the order. Darrell Hamilton, Dave Valley, and Will Clark. With the Rangers leading by 3 runs. Roger McDowell went 1 inning. Make that an inning and 2/3 for McDowell, and he allowed 1 run on 1 hit, walked 2, and struck out none.
What you like about Armando so far this season is he has only walked 1 batter in 4 innings pitched. Something that wasn't there last season.
Ball 1 to Darrell Hamilton, who has 3 hits in 4 at-bats and has scored twice. Benitez earlier this year had a strain of his elbow that was bothering him some. Davey Johnson was asked what he thought about that classic matchup the other day between Benitez and Jose Canseco with the bases loaded, and Canseco flied out, just missed a grand slam home run. He took a tremendous cut, and Davey said, well, I would like the matchup better if Benitez were throwing as hard as he can, but I thought he was throwing pretty hard.
Yeah, he was throwing the ball extremely well. And a lot of times, you know, when you have a little ache and pain, and obviously don't want to have anything serious, but it holds you back, it keeps you under control. You say, I can't overthrow because I'm a little tender. Keep your delivery together. Hitters will tell you that. Sometimes a little bit of a sprain of an ankle will help them stay back and use their hands.
There's that disappearing fastball.
What you see is Armando's delivery is becoming quieter, which means not so much flailing of arms and legs. Seems more relaxed on the mound.
Slider in the dirt, and it's 3-2 to Darrell Hamilton.
And catchers take a beating.
I think Armando is just, you know, he's a little older, a year older. He's spent most of last year in the big leagues, has some experience now. He just seems to be more mature than he was last year.
Well, last year with his short spring, he was thrown into an important role with that club because the shortened spring starters couldn't pitch more than 4 or 5 innings the first couple of times around. And Armando and Brad Pennington had to be in the important parts of the game, in close games and situations they really weren't ready for.
Popped up, might be trouble. That's in there for a base hit. Hamilton's 4th hit of the game. A flare to left.
Well, that was a scud. Scud is a hit that, referring back to the, you see this ball just going to fall where they're not. A bleeder, a lot of names for those.
Dying quail.
Dying quail, flare. Scud, named after that missile where you really didn't know where it was going to land. Take a full swing, the hitter will look to right field, the ball goes to left. He's going to have a little laugh at that one.
And this could be a running situation for Hamilton.
And this is something that Armando in the future will need to do better. Hold runners a little better, field his position a little better. Being so big, 6'4", not wanting to sacrifice, not really into the slide style of pitching.
Hamilton runs well, and during the offseason, he spent time with a couple of Olympians, Carl Lewis and Leroy Burrell in Houston. He trained with them and with the University of Houston track coach, trying to get his legs in shape to avoid the hamstring and groin pulls that bothered him the last 2 years of the Brewers. He said one time they even let him run out of the starting blocks. He said he stayed with Burrell and Carl Lewis for a few steps. It was quite a thrill.
Well, the Oakland A's and Charlie Finley years ago actually had I think his name was Matt Alexander, was a Olympic sprinter, and they signed him and kept him on the club just for that. But unfortunately, he wanted to keep his left foot on the base and use it as a starting block to go to second. Really do nothing about leads.
Now, who was the guy? There was a guy before him even that Herb, the track star who played with. I can't think of his last name.
It may have been Herb Washington. I think it's Herb Washington. It sounds right.
Maybe.
But I'm sure Matt Alexander fell in that. And this is where Finley tried to revolutionize the game. But you still have to have the athletic instincts to get a good jump no matter how fast you are. People can be very fast and not be base stealers.
Hamilton draws a throw.
We saw Chris Hoyles go out. A lot of times these signs are coming from the manager and pitching coach. You really don't want any cross-ups at this point.
Valley shows bunt and takes, and they were charging right down his throat.
Well, this is also a situation, if you're manager Davey Johnson, where you want the ball bunted. We have the offense charging in. Let's take the out. We're charging fast enough that maybe we'll have a play at second base. What you don't want to have is to fall behind in the count. We have all these people charging and moving all over the infield, and the hitter swings away. This is not unusual, especially with a 10-7 lead, to put the hit and run on. And I've seen a lot of innings blow open in this situation.
Dobson giving the signs for throwovers or hold the ball or step off or pitch out. There goes Hamilton. Swing and a miss. A throw to second by Hoyles. Not in time, and Hamilton steals it.
Well, just as we got done saying, by being in a poor count and not letting Dave Valley just bunt, throw the ball over and let him bunt, take the out. We have people charging. Johnny Oates changes the game plan, gives Dave Valley a hack to see what happens, and Hamilton is off. He changed from the bunt to the hit and run.
He could bunt him over to third.
And now you don't have to spend the out that they were giving us initially. Now we can spend it towards third base or give Dave Valley a chance just to go ahead and drive it in. We have a 3-run lead. But he accomplished what he wanted to do without having to give up the out.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Dave Valley, who's 0 for 2 since coming into the game for the injured Ivan Rodriguez. Rangers 10, Orioles 7. Three and 2.
It was always an Earl Weaver philosophy. If they're going to give you an out, take it. They only get 27. We're not going to give up any of ours. We'll take every single one they give us to stay out of a big inning.
See Chris Hoyles telling Benitez, stay within yourself, don't overthrow. Well, we got a long one going here. A lot of other games around baseball have been completed.
I think the Tokyo Giants finished, and they're about 8 hours difference between here and there.
This game is about 3.5 hours long now. Well, the Red Sox lost again, 9-4 to Cleveland.
That Cleveland club's coming on strong offensively. They're very quiet first couple of weeks of the season.
Low, and he walked it. Well, Dave Valley draws a walk, and that'll bring up Will Clark. He's had a good night. He's doubled, homered, driven in 2 runs, and scored twice.
A lot of communication going on in this situation. Chris Hoyles out to talk to Armando Benitez. In a situation like this with nobody out, first and second, a lot of the signs run through Ripken. Rip flashing some signs, and what it is if we believe they're bunting, there's 3 to 4 different bunt plays, giving out the coverage, making sure everyone's on the same page.
Strike 1 to Will Clark. I'd be very surprised if Will Clark is bunting.
I say one of the 4 basic defenses is get an out. And I'm sure that's what Cal flashed, not believing Clark would be bunting unless he did it on his own.
Darrell Hamilton is at second base. Dave Valley at first. Nobody out. Clark lays off a high fastball and the count evens 1-1. He's always been a very good hitter with runners in scoring positions. Concentration is good.
He's never been, you know, a classic home run hitter, but he's always been a good RBI man, a clutch hitter, big game sort of player.
Last year he hit .341 with men in scoring position. Fouls this one off, and it's 1-2.
Well, Clark being a pretty good high fastball hitter. Be interesting to see if he can catch up with an Armando Benitez high fastball. Armando has him in a position where he can afford to bounce a slider or attempt a high fastball.
Fastball is high. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Will Clark. Rangers 10, Orioles 7. We're in the bottom of the 8th in Texas.
Armando's throwing hard, but his elbow position has dropped some. What would happen to him when he loses some of his control? That front shoulder flies open. The hitter sees the ball, and the ball usually ends up and away.
Ball skips away from Chris Hoyles, and the runners will advance. I imagine that'll be a wild pitch. Looked like it was in the dirt.
I think he took a shot at a slider. See Chris getting a good position to block this ball and keep it in front. This goes off the right shin guard.
And it is a wild pitch charged Armando Benitez.
I mean, this is one of those games where a catcher, you really get beat up. Chris has seen a lot of pitches tonight for a number of different styles of pitchers, sinker ballers, four-seamers. And now coming in towards the end of the evening, the hardest thrower on the club.
The Orioles play the infield in. 3-2 pitch coming up to Will Clark. He's a tough out.
Well, Clark wanted to get on that 3-2 fastball. Pretty sure that's what will be coming. Armando not wanting to paint himself into the corner of loading the bases with nobody out.
Clark fouls off another one.
And Clark, being a classic RBI style of hitter, is not really looking for a walk in this situation. He's looking for a ball he can drive. It's hard somewhere. The Orioles infield is in, knowing that they really don't want to give any more runs.
Clark has become a much more disciplined hitter over the years. He's reduced his strikeout totals each year he's been playing. And he draws a walk. That'll load him up for Juan Gonzalez.
Well, just as
allowed 2 walks and a single, and now the sacks are full. Davey Johnson's going to go to the mound. And this might be an injury situation because trainer Rich Bancells is coming out. Benitez may have hurt himself. So this will not count as a visit, but Armando obviously is in pain.
Well, it's a medical visit.
Let's see if we can tell what happened.
Well, here's a shot of it again. Armando appears to pull off towards first base. A lot of times when a pitcher is not feeling well, whether it be elbow, shoulder, and it doesn't look like Armando will continue, it is the control that goes.
So he leaves the game, and the new pitcher will get as much time as he needs to get ready, and we'll return to Arlington with the Rangers leading 10-7. This Orozco taking plenty of tosses. He should be ready sometime around midnight.
That's what you want to say. He'd be ready today. You know, don't let it roll over midnight.
Jesse pitched in yesterday's game against the Red Sox and did not fare well. He relieved Mike Messina in the 7th inning. Dwayne Hosey reached on an infield single and stole second. Posey scored on a base hit by John Valentin, and then Mo Vaughn hit a home run to left field off Jesse, and in 2 innings of work, he was charged with 4 earned runs on 4 hits.
I talked to him before the game. He's had a little bit of some difficulty with his delivery. Hasn't really locked it in yet like he did last season. Expecting to reproduce what he had. A terrific year. Hasn't quite found it as of yet, but the thing that's disturbing about the game tonight, even if the Orioles do come up short, is they've gone through the majority of their bullpen. The status of Armando Benitez is certainly in question for tomorrow, and this is a injury that's haunted him for a period of time. And having to use Orozco, McDowell, and Myers all tonight.
Slider low to Juan Gonzalez, who's 1 for 6 lifetime against Jesse Orozco.
Looking ahead tomorrow, you have Jimmy Haynes going, who's been shaky but better. We figured you'd have to use some people out of your bullpen tomorrow also, but maybe not. Earl Weaver would say, we'll worry about tomorrow. The modern game is maybe a little bit more long-sighted.
1 ball and 1 strike to Juan Gonzalez. Armando Benitez was ineffective in this inning. Gave up a single to Darrell Hamilton, a bloop to left. He saw that one drop in. Then he gave up 2 walks to Dave Valley and Will Clark to load the bases and left with an injury.
Well, it shows you how warm it is here. Jesse Orozco has shrunk 2 pant sizes.
It's easy for you to say.
Gumbiitis at this point.
Pulled foul. That happens after you reach the 3-hour mark.
My lower lip just stuck with my upper. Either that or he has his jammies on because it is getting late.
Jesse has his son, Jesse Jr., with him on this trip. Good-looking kid. I understand he's a pitcher himself.
Oh, we may need him tomorrow.
May need him tonight. Jesse Orozco is the 5th pitcher used by the Orioles. Line to center field, and that's in there for extra bases. Hamilton will score. Valley's on his way home. And Will Clark will be held at third, and now it's 12-7. Well, Juan Gonzalez having a big night. He's driven in 5 runs.
And hit some rockets. He'd have had 1 more RBI if he hadn't hit it so hard. Brady Anderson really played this ball off the wall extremely well. It was a rocket to center field in the gap. And we've seen them hit some bullets in the alleys tonight. See Gonzalez, perfect hitting for him. Head down. You can see why the off-speed pitches would be effective. This ball comes right off the wall, and Brady gets it in quickly.
Gonzalez with 5 RBIs tonight. He now has 18 for the season.
Well, I'm sure they're rooting to have the old Juan Gonzalez back. In the last 2 games, the Orioles giving up double figures in runs. Obviously hits.
Ball 1 to Mickey Tettleton, who's walked twice, struck out, and fouled to the catcher.
But it becomes feast or famine in the bullpen, where Orozco wasn't getting much work the first 10 days, 15 days of the season, and then situations come up where they're in there every day. Arm has to be very resilient. Orozco has always avoided a disabled list in his career.
Mickey Tettleton is 3 for 9 lifetime against Orozco. Fastball is high, 2-0.
Jesse used to turn a lot more in his delivery last season. I felt he was flying open because of it. Is trying to turn that upper body not quite as far as he used to and drop the ball out of the glove a little earlier to get a better arm swing and more power.
2 balls, 1 strike to Mickey. Kent Mercker started the game. He gave up 8 runs. Jimmy Myers allowed 1. Roger McDowell 1. Armando Benitez has been charged with 2.
Well, where the whole bullpen had a 0 ERA about a week ago, they've all been starting to get pinned a little bit.
I didn't miss by much.
No,
3-1.
Well, the thing with Jesse that I've seen is the biggest difference between last season and this season is the breaking ball. It hasn't been as sharp or as powerful. It was a little better tonight, a little sharper. It was a pitch he could always count on, just as he threw it there at 2-1. count that most pitchers have a difficult time getting a breaking ball over. He was very proficient at it last season.
A high fly ball to left field and deep. Back goes Hammonds to the warning track. He's got it. That'll bring home a run. And the Rangers now lead 13-7 as Will Clark scores. Gonzalez goes to third.
Well, not many quiet outs in this field tonight in this game. Easy for me to say again. But even the outs have been hit hard.
That run is also charged to Armando Benitez.
Well, it didn't take long for the Rangers to clear the bases.
13 runs and 13 hits tonight for Texas.
And they've been doing it by the big innings, scoring 5 in the first, 3 in the fifth, 3 here in the eighth.
And now Dean Palmer is up. Palmer 1 for 3, hit a 2-run homer in the fifth. Oh, he gets a hold of one and sends it high and deep to left. Hammonds back by the scoreboard, and it's gone. Another home run for Palmer. And now it's 15-7 Texas. Dean Palmer also flexing his muscles with 2 homers and 4 RBIs tonight.
Some balls have been launched. Target is supposed to be in. Here's that breaking ball. We said that quite hasn't been as sharp as it was last season. Up in the zone, which is even worse. Tettleton just misses a homer. Gonzalez scalded one to center. And Palmer goes deep.
4 home runs tonight for Texas. 2 of them by Palmer, 1 each by Gonzalez. And there's one more in there somewhere.
Will Clark.
Palmer 2, Gonzalez, and Will Clark.
And there really are home runs by all the hitters who were supposed to hit them. Right through the middle of that powerful Ranger lineup. Plus Hamilton's had a great night.
He's had 4 hits. Swing and a miss by Rusty Greer, and it's 2-1. Greer has also had a good night with 2 doubles and a run batted in.
Who hasn't had a good night? Who has made the outs?
Well, Mickey Tettleton does not have a hit, but he did drive in a run. Another base hit.
He had 4 home runs fouled, so he still had a good night.
That's the 3rd hit for Greer as he singles to center, the 14th Texas hit. And now Mark McLemore will be coming up, batting right-handed. He doesn't have a hit. He's 0 for 1 officially with 2 walks and a sacrifice fly. Kevin Elster has 1 hit. Let's go down the lineup here. Hamilton has 4. Ivan Rodriguez had a triple before he left. Clark has a double and a single. Double and a home run. Gonzalez has a 3-run homer and a double and 5 RBIs. Dean Palmer has 2 homers and 4 RBIs. Greer with 3 hits. So only McLemore and Elster, those who started the game, and Tettleton have gone hitless. 6 guys have done most of the damage. One and 1 to Mark.
You figure at this point in the game, the Orioles have only recorded 22 outs, and to have given up 15 runs and 15 hits during that period of time makes it tough on Mel Proctor.
Holy cow, Steve.
But your pitching staff is going to have these ebbs and flows. I mean, they had a great 2 weeks, starters and relievers, and then they're going to cool off, and you hope when they do that the offense comes around. There's a chance for the pitching staff to get it back together.
Another base hit. McLemore singles to left, so he's gotten into the act. Well, it's the 16th Texas hit.
Right, and what's tough about the situation is Davey Johnson really doesn't want to use any more pitchers.
Well, this is the 2nd time in the game that the Rangers have sent 9 men to the plate in an inning. They did it in the 1st inning, and Kevin Elster is the 9th man to come up in this inning. 15 runs, 16 hits for Texas.
one of the more difficult nights for the pitching coach. When things are going well, you know, it's wonderful, and you ride that along. And you know, pitching coach, you're fixers. And there's a few people, I guess, at this point to work on, if not physically, then psychologically.
Fastball is in there for a strike to Kevin Elster. And I stand corrected on Elster. He does have a hit. He doubled in the 6th. So he's 1 for 4.
Well, your scorecard's a mess with all these crooked numbers.
It's like the
doubles.
Dead Sea Scrolls. Hieroglyphics.
The Dempsey Scrolls?
Oh. The Dempsey patrons.
His name came up today. He's the advanced scout for the Colorado Rockies. Doug Melvin saying they had crossed paths.
Half swing, he went around. You ever sat next to a scout at a game? It's amazing how hard they work. I mean, you used to assume that they sit down there and eat popcorn and drink Cokes and shoot the
breeze.
But they work very hard. Chart every pitch. They got to keep track of the pitch, what's thrown, the location, what happened to it.
What counts, you know, the score of the game when he threw this.
And I sat next to Ted Eulander, who last year was scouting for the Yankees, and we had a day off in Oakland, and sat with him while he was scouting, and it was fascinating. But he really has no time for idle conversation.
You really can't look up, but you know, you're looking down writing, and you hope you don't miss something when you look back up. But you know, the modern day game is very computerized, and it's all logged away. The tendencies, you know, the defensive shifts.
Pulled down the left field line, and it hooks foul. There have been a lot of loud fouls in addition to the 16 hits. Jesse Orozco has given up 4 hits since coming in. He's been charged with 2 runs.
Trying to regroup, find the form of 95.
Fisted foul out of play. When did that the sophistication in the scouting really develop? Who started it, the use of these? I mean, Earl Weaver used to use his Weaver notes, the cards, index cards that had how a batter does against a pitcher. I guess he was the first to do that. But the use of these charts showing where hitters hit and computerizing the information.
Well, I think most of it has come since the mail service has gotten so much better. Federal Express and overnight mail and fax machines.
Oh my, another base hit. Rusty Greer is headed for home, and he'll score to make it 16-7.
It's ugly.
Second hit of the game for Kevin Elster.
The thing is, there's still only 1 out this inning. As a manager, you know, someone that you want to be an important part of your bullpen, you really don't want to leave out to die. But
you know, I hope it wasn't a bad omen that I brought up that game between the Orioles and the Blue Jays years ago, and the thing got out of hand, and Elrod Hendricks had to pitch, because it's about where it's getting now.
Well, that and the 33-inning game you brought up, and now we're approaching that game in length of game, not innings. The Seattle game, you can see Toronto-Seattle. That game started at 10 o'clock, and it's, well, we're just about where we're at.
16 runs, 17 hits for the Rangers, and they may not be finished. Darrell Hamilton comes up for the 2nd time in the inning. He already has 4 hits.
This inning?
No, he's got 1 this inning. But he had 2 hits in the 1st inning and had another single in the 6th. He's up for the 2nd time in the 8th. He already singled. I wonder if that's some kind of record, if a guy would get 2 hits
in the same inning
twice in a game. They don't stay up at night worrying about that, but it could happen. Slider misses, 1-1. Swing and a miss. He's trying to flip through the Ranger press guide to find out what the club record for most hits in a game is.
I don't think they'd have most hits in an inning.
Well, the Rangers have 6 hits in this inning. Slider low and away, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Darryl Hamilton has a chance to tie the club record for most hits in a game. The record is 5, set by many players. It's been done 21 times in Texas history. Fastball inside, 3-2.
Well, most hits in an inning is 9. 1973.
The most hits in a game is 22. They've got 17 so far. They had 22 at Cleveland 1986. Did it again in 87 and 94. And the bases are loaded. Jesse Orosco having a very difficult time. So Hamilton is on base for the 5th time, and the bases are loaded for Dave Valley, who is hitless since coming into the game. He's 0 for 2 with a walk.
This is a very demoralizing appearance for Orosco. I'm sure he figured pretty much had the night off. The way the score was going, primarily used as a setup man for closer Randy Myers. All of a sudden the phone rings, you're in the game. Sometimes it's not enough time to prepare mentally. Figured he pitched yesterday, probably had the day off.
Strike 1 to Valley.
But just when you think you have the game figured out, it'll change.
Well, this is an eye-opener for the Orioles, who played so well at home. They head out on this 7-game road trip and get pounded in the first game. A rolled foul into the Oriole dugout.
The bottom line is it is only 1 game. Orioles still can rebound and win 2 out of 3. It'll just be a little tougher after not winning the first. Obviously Cleveland playing much better, which is the next stop along the road.
I wonder what's going through Jimmy Haynes' mind as he sits there and watches this tonight. He'll pitch tomorrow.
And the thing that's nasty about it is that you have to chart this game as the next day's pitcher. So he has seen all these and charted each and every one of these pitches.
Just missed. 1-2 to Valley.
And he's really never seen this club before. So he doesn't look too nailed. You know, he's biting his nails a little bit. But you can think your club will play better tomorrow. You have to be an optimist.
High and away, and it's 2-2. Bases loaded, 1 out. The Rangers have scored 6 times in this inning and lead 16-7.
I mean, this is a slow death for your ball club. It's a slow death for your pitching coach, your manager. They want Orosco to do well. They know he's going to be an important part of their bullpen.
3-2. He is struggling.
Oh, when you struggle, the war is not against the opposition or the opposing hitter. It is with yourself, and the war right now definitely is raging between Orosco and himself and his delivery.
Jesse's given up 3 runs, 5 hits, walked 1. Now in danger of walking in a run.
Right, and they have that inherited runner stat, so 3 of those get pinned on also. So it's
popped up foul out of play. Most of this crowd of 41,000 plus has departed.
I'm surprised that there's this many left. Did they close the concession stand, or must have kept it open later?
I think they shut off the beer sales in the 7th inning and everybody leaves. Oh boy, ain't we having fun? Mark McLemore comes home to make it 17-7. That's the 18th Texas hit. And the first hit for Dave Valley. I don't know what Pat Dobson's going to tell Jesse. Jesse's given up 4 runs, 6 hits, and a walk.
This ought to be an interesting conversation, but as a pitching coach, you have to have a lot of compassion, empathy. I see Greg Zahn wondering if he'll get a chance to pitch.
Sammy Snyder thinking he might be activated.
This is when, if you're in the bullpen, you really want to hide, and maybe they'll forget that you're down there. Maybe Manny Alexander's going to get ready to pitch, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Manny is going to warm up. Manny says, I'll pitch. I'll do anything to get in the game.
Well, we had that long extra inning game earlier on this homestand, and Davey Johnson was asked who he would have gone to if the game had gone real long. And he said, well, if I ran out of pitchers eventually, it'd be Manny. He's got good stuff.
And I'll guarantee you his heart is pounding right through his shirt. Well, he wanted to be a shortstop, and now he's just going to be a short reliever.
Poor Manny must be wondering what's going on, huh?
What did I do when I signed?
Well, as Manny gets loose, Will Clark comes up with the bases loaded and 1 out. The Rangers lead 17-7. Clark has 2 hits, a double and a homer. Ball 1. Well, Jesse just doesn't have it tonight.
No, and the thing is, when it rains, it pours. So when you miss, they take it. It seems like that strike zone, I'm sure, is about an inch wide. The hitters know you're not throwing well, and they just tee off. It's amazing how bad it can get.
1 ball and 1 strike to Clark. What does Manning have in his repertoire?
Well, he has the 1-finger fastball, the 2-finger fastball, and the 3-finger fastball. And he's really checking that field to see what's going on.
Good breaking ball from Orozco. Elicits a swing from Clark, and it's 1-2.
Well, the Ranger hitters just may be tired at this point. It's not a question of they're just getting worn down.
Well, the Rangers have scored 7 times in this inning. Clark hits it foul. The Texas record for most runs in an inning is 12. They scored 12 at Oakland in 1983. A 12-run inning.
Boy, we'd have loved to have been there for that one. I don't remember this game. The most hits in a game extra innings was 22 versus Baltimore in '83.
Maybe you pitched in it. Maybe you blocked it out.
Maybe I did. I did block it out.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Will Clark. Bases loaded, 1 out. 17-7 Texas. Slider misses, and another full count.
I wonder if Manny has a sign to know when he's ready. This may be his last hitter.
Yep.
Manny's always been tough on right-handed hitters.
Look at Manny.
He threw a little tee on there to check and see who was on deck.
Fouled away.
And it shows you really how desperate they are for an out at this point, with Orozco dropping a 3-2 hook with the bases loaded on Clark.
There's El Tiante, a little sidearm.
Yeah, he's dropped a little Icorn on him. It's not that he has a good move to second. He's just checking the field and hoping.
A roller foul, and Clark hangs tough.
Well, you had to bring up that 24-10 game that I pitched, didn't you? You couldn't leave it alone. I think it's the last time a non-pitcher has pitched in a game. Elrod Hendricks and Larry Harlow pitching in that game.
Ball 4. Jesse Orozco walks in a run to make it 18-7. That's going to do it. We're going to see Manny Alexander.
Oh, boy. Davey doesn't even know which arm to signal with. Just send him in.
Here comes Manny. It's 18-7 Texas. We'll be back. Well, Manny Alexander will make his major league debut as a pitcher. Coming in with the bases loaded, with Texas leading 18-7. Damon Buford, the former Oriole, takes over at first base, running for Will Clark. Jesse Orozco worked a third of an inning. He allowed 5 runs on 6 hits, walked 2, and gave up a home run.
Been a tough couple of days. So this may be the best defensive infield that the Orioles have ever played. It may be the lowest numbered pitcher ever to participate in an Oriole game.
Manny's first professional pitch is a ball to Juan Gonzalez. What a way to break in, facing one of the most feared sluggers in the game
with the bases loaded. They wouldn't do this to anybody. And you know who really the pressure is on? It's on Juan Gonzalez. He does not want to look funny by this shortstop who will never let him for the rest of his life forget it. If he were to ever strike him out or make him look funny even on a pitch.
Gonzalez has driven in 5 runs tonight, and a 3-run homer in the first and a 2-run double earlier in this inning. Way high. This is the second time he's been up in this frame. He's the 13th hitter to come to the plate. The Rangers have scored 8 runs in the inning, and there's still only 1 out. And the game is now in excess of 4 hours. Uh-oh. 3-1.
They may have bent the rules some too. I don't really believe Manny is coming to a complete stop. Something Manny can put in his scrapbook.
He's having trouble throwing strikes right now. Ball 4, and then a walk in another run to make it 19-7. Hamilton scores. Riley goes to third. Buford to second. Gonzalez gets credit for another RBI, so that's 6 RBIs for him tonight. And we'll get a pinch runner for Juan Gonzalez. That run is also charged to Jesse Orozco.
It rains, it pours.
Craig Worthington, member of the Oriole Alumni Club, will run at first. Worthington certainly not noted for his speed, but I think Johnny Oates is just calling the dogs off now with his team up 19-7. Well, we're just getting a word that Manny Alexander is the first non-pitcher to pitch in a game since Dave Martinez of the White Sox did it last year. There's a strike, and it's 1-1.
A little queso on the outer half for Manny. It's only been, 10 or 15 years since his last start in Little League, so he had a lot of rest.
He's the 6th pitcher the Orioles have used tonight. That's high.
Well, I don't know if you could say he's the 6th pitcher.
What are they going to do if he can't throw strikes? And this 19-7 now. There's only 1 out.
He's pitching around him till he gets a guy he's comfortable pitching to.
He has to go down in the order all the way down to Kevin Elster.
That may be it, and that's what you got to do. Don't give in, Manny.
3-1. Who's next? Elrod's getting loose.
No, Elrod's trying to shout encouragement to tell him to go ahead and wind up. Is what he's saying. There's no really need to stretch, and Manny was in the bullpen throwing from the windup. Who knows?
There's a strike, maybe a liberal strike. Jim Joyce expanding his zone a little bit, and it's 3-2.
Arthur Rhodes and Randy Myers really the only ones left in the Oriole pen.
Ball 4. Manny walks in another run to make it 20-7. Can you believe this?
Well, what's happening is the Orioles statistics are taking a beating, especially the pitching numbers that they've worked so hard over the first 14 games can be totally abused in one evening. There's some crooked numbers going up on the board. There's a upside down 8, I think.
Well, the Rangers have tied the club record for most runs scored in a game with 20. They've scored 10 runs in this inning, and there's still only 1 out, and the bases are still loaded. And Dean Palmer, who has already hit 2 homers, is up again.
And Manny has thrown nothing but fastballs. This is more or less like souped up BP. The amazing thing about it is that the Rangers have only left 5 men on base till this point.
Swing and a miss by Palmer, and it's 1-2. Damon Buford is now at third base. Juan Gonzalez at second. They make that Craig Worthington at second. And Mickey Tettleton at first. Looked like a slider.
I mean, I think he's breaking out the arsenal. But I think it
better break out something quickly.
Either have the pitching screen. The thing is, we reflect back, it seems like yesterday that Benitez started this inning off and we were saying root to take the bunt to take the out. It could lead to a big inning. I think I was right.
3-2 to Dean Palmer. This is unbelievable. 20 runs, 18 hits. The Rangers lead 20-7. They've scored 10 times in this inning. Who's going to be next after Manny?
I think Manny's it.
Ball 4. He walks in another run to make it 21-7. This is the darndest thing I've ever seen.
It's like that Bugs Bunny show. Do you ever watch that Bugs Bunny cartoon, the ball game one, where they're going dun 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 around the bases and just keep going?
21-7 Texas. Manny has walked every man he's faced. We're going to get another pinch runner.
I mean, I wonder what Houston's got. Billy Ripken's got a pretty good knuckleball. Now, guarantee if you shoot the dugout, they may be ducking.
Kurt Stillwell will run at first for Palmer, who leaves with 5 RBIs. 21-7 Texas. They've scored 11 times in this 8th inning. And the bases are still loaded. And Manny's having trouble throwing strikes. He goes ball 1 to Rusty Greer. High fly ball, center field. Back goes Brady Anderson. He's got it, but the Rangers will get another run and now lead 22-7. Craig Worthington scores the 12th run of the inning and the 21st run of the game.
Well, that ties the record.
22nd run. Losing count.
Well, let's hope this is not a catch-22 now. The bottom line, it only counts as 1 loss.
Here comes Mark McLemore, who is the 17th hitter to come up in this inning.
Oh, come on.
I kid you not.
17.
Strike 1. Mark singled earlier in the inning about 2 hours ago.
I wonder if they keep a stat for the longest inning ever, time-wise.
Yeah, the Rangers have now tied the club record for most runs in an inning. They go way back to 1983 when they scored 12 in 1 inning at Oakland. They've got 12 tonight, and they may not be done.
Well, it's not the way you really want to rewrite the record book. Let's put it that way. A lot of records will tumble tonight.
Well, Manny will have an ERA after tonight.
Yeah, he'll be a statistic.
His walks to innings pitch ratio won't be too good either. To walk 4.
But there's been some great Alexanders on the hill. Grover Cleveland Alexander, Doyle Alexander, and now Manny Alexander.
Popped up foul out of play. Do we have any idea how long this inning is in terms of time? And that's been incredible.
Well, if we could run our tape back in the truck, but I don't know if we have that much tape.
We're going to try to find out. Oh boy, another 3-2 count. Manny's already walked 4.
Well, he does have a base open.
He'll walk in and go after Kevin Elster.
That's the one we told you he was going for.
Ball 4. Manny gives up another walk, and now the bases are loaded again.
Well, this is the one he's been waiting for. He pitched around the first 8 hitters in the lineup. Discretion being the better part of valor.
Kevin Elster, the 18th hitter to come up in this inning.
No.
He singled in a run earlier in the inning. Jesse Orozco gave up 8 runs while he was in there.
And I believe he gave up 4 yesterday, so it's been a real tough couple of days for the Orioles staff. And
this inning has been 54 minutes in length so far. Oh my! Oh, doctor! Kevin Elster gets a hold of one. That's out of here. A grand slam homer. And it's now 26-7.
well, we can rip this page right out of the book.
Manny Alexander gives up his first major league homer, a grand slam.
Something Jim Palmer went close to 5,000 innings and never gave up a grand slam.
The Rangers have shattered the club record for most runs in an inning. They've got 16 runs in this inning. And they lead 26-7. There's still 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Good Lord.
We better go to the prevent defense.
Darrell Hamilton is coming up for the third time in this inning. He's been on base 5 times with 4 singles and a walk. Strike one. 26 runs, 19 hits for Texas.
And the bases are clear, and they've only left 5 men on base all night.
Hamilton pops it up off third base, and it'll carry back out of play. This is unbelievable. 16-run inning.
That's an ugly line score.
Hamilton is the 19th hitter to come up in the inning. I've never seen anything like this.
We may have to go to the Oriole record book. We've been doing the Ranger side.
Ground ball to second. Finally, the inning is over. The Rangers sent 19 men to the plate and scored 16 runs in 1 inning. Texas leads 26-7.
Oh, ain't the beer cold?
Nice job, Manny.